On the hunt for South Africa's ultimate innovators, KFC is all about creating meaningful experiences that are relevant and purpose-led, which is evident in their latest campaign. Hackerpreneurs sets out to assist young people who kept their eyes on the prize during this pandemic by turning their hustle into real opportunity. The top 3 winners have been announced, and to share more on how these young people were awarded this opportunity, we are joined by Sylvester Chauke, who is the CEO of DNA Brand Architects. Sylvester, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
A very good morning to you indeed.
Well, it's so great to have you on the show this morning, Sylvester. A lot of people sent out their business proposals, but as one of the judges, what were you looking for specifically?
We know that COVID-19 has ushered a whole new, different need for entrepreneurs, as we've seen that many restaurants closed down, many small businesses were really negatively impacted by the lockdown and by COVID-19 in general. So what was quite key for KFC was trying to find and award entrepreneurs who have taken the period within lockdown and hacked the system. So they didn't let the challenges that they were facing as a business, stop them from growing. So we're trying to find what we call hackerpreneurs, entrepreneurs, young businessmen and women who not only managed to grow their businesses during that time, but they pivoted to ensure that they stay in business. That was the key criteria that we wanted to see.
And I would imagine it must have been quite a tedious task coming up with the 3 winners, because all the entries and proposals that have been submitted, it suffices to mention that no business is less important than the others. All businesses are important. And I suppose that it really was quite a hectic endeavor for you to embark on.
I think it is quite important to remember that we are dealing currently with massive unemployment in the country. And of course, pre-COVID, we knew that there was a huge challenge we are facing in terms of unemployment and trying to stimulate entrepreneurs into the system. So when COVID hit, obviously, that impacted the numbers even more, meaning that more people were being unemployed and more young businesses, particularly, were being negatively affected, and of course, resulting in job losses. So when you're going through the entries, every single business and every single young entrepreneur that is in business currently is something that we want to celebrate. And KFC felt very, very, very strong that it was up to them to ensure that they really do give a pat on the back for these young entrepreneurs. And I think that was quite amazing that going through the entries, we realized that there is a generation of young entrepreneurs in the country who are bold, who are unafraid, who are challenging the current status. And that was something that was quite inspiring for me and for the judges at large.
I mean, access to markets and funding are, the 2 top most challenging obstacles that young entrepreneurs face in South Africa. I suppose then that this will sort of provide a lifeline for them. So how much was awarded to them?
So there was about 500,000 rands that was allocated, towards this particular competition. But it was more than just about the prize money. I think what was quite key was being able to bring a network of young entrepreneurs who are a class of their own, who can be able to be supported going forward. So it was quite important for us to not only look at it from a prize point perspective or the prize win perspective, but look more in terms of where we can link these young businesses to be able to grow their businesses. Because remember, and this is my view really, that most young businesses are looking for opportunities, not just the money to build their businesses. And I think it's all really about how do we ensure that we give these young entrepreneurs more access to more markets and access to more business. And even more important, it was these young people coming together and being able to build a network of business leaders so they can be able to continue to encourage each other and support each other during the turbulent time that you do experience as an entrepreneur.
Sylvester, you and I know that so many youth have got brilliant business ideas, but the challenge is unearthing it and bringing it to life because of the lack of capacity. So does this program seek to capacitate young and upcoming entrepreneurs in terms of starting a business, in terms of pitching a proposal, and in terms of making presentations to potential funders?
I think that was definitely part of the entire process, was ensuring that it was upskilling and assisting these young entrepreneurs in order for them to obviously be better as they grow. And more importantly, is also understanding the fact that within the country right now, yes, there are lots of entrepreneurs with good ideas, but perhaps these ideas are not necessarily given enough attention and support in order to help them thrive. And of course, there are so many different programs available in the country that people could go into and learn from. But I think what was quite important in this particular campaign called the KFC Hackapreneur was really about trying to showcase that even as an entrepreneur, when you're on a journey to build your business, when you are hit by a challenge, and in this case, the challenge was COVID-19, how can you look at your business in such a way that it still allows for sustainability, but making adjustments that are determined by the environment which you are facing at the time? So yes, 100% right. It is about upskilling. The program is about, ensuring that these young entrepreneurs are getting the necessary skills and support for them to be able to continue to build and grow their businesses, and hopefully also be able to share what they've learned with other young entrepreneurs in their network.
So how important are initiatives like these in uplifting and elevating young people?
It is so important. And I think brands and corporates and businesses at large in the country and on the continent, it is so important that we support entrepreneurs who are growing. And not only is it just a necessity, but I think if you look at where we are right now, the rate of unemployment is skyrocketing. Big business is actually retrenching a lot of people at the moment. And as a result, we are seeing that entrepreneurs are going to be the place where jobs can be created, and jobs can be created quite quickly and more efficiently. And for a brand like KFC to see that there is a gap, there is an opportunity for them to participate, to inspire this young generation of entrepreneurs is really commendable. And I think as many brands as possible who can look at how they can be able to assist these small businesses will actually leave us in a much better place, not only in terms of unemployment, in terms of upskilling, but I think in terms of a duty to the community in which we belong. So it's important for business to participate in improving, the socioeconomic impact that our communities get to experience.
And how does hackapreneurs ensure that young entrepreneurs in particular are not only market participants, they are not only participate in the market, but they create a market and be the market?
It's actually quite important that is one of the key things that we do teach, because it's important that we're not just consumers of products and services, but that we are actually developers, we are innovators, we are the key, the thought starters of these big businesses. Because I think as a continent, we are known for being a consuming continent, even though we know that we are an ingenious continent, that we make plan, as entrepreneurs to be able to build our businesses. And I think that is something that was quite foundational to this campaign, was trying to showcase and highlight these young businesses that are actually able to not only participate, but also be able to create and innovate within the SMME space.
Now, just before I let you go, Sylvester, for someone who is at home and watching this interview and has a brilliant business idea but no funding, what advice would you give them?
I think there are quite a number of different spaces that one can look at to be able to find support, and support of many levels, depending on where you are in the development of your business plan. If you think about the NYDA, for example, the Durban Business Fair as another example, there are so many programs. And if you look at the KFC Hackapreneur, is also another one of those examples where you can be able to reach out so that we can be able to connect you to the right kind of support.
All right, Sylvester Chauke, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
We just spoke to Sylvester Chauke, who is the CEO of DNA Brand Architects, on why initiatives like the Hackapreneurs are important in uplifting and elevating young people in South Africa, especially the young entrepreneurs. We highlighted some of the challenges that are facing young entrepreneurs, especially the issue of funding and the access to markets.